Breaking news! Major changes are on the horizon for disabled drivers in the UK, and if you're a blue badge holder, you could be entitled to a substantial financial benefit worth up to £3,750. Before we dive into the full details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss important updates like this one. We're here to keep you informed with the latest government policies, automotive news, and tips that matter to your daily life. Now, the UK's Department for Transport has confirmed a major update that's set to impact thousands of disabled motorists. In a move that will bring financial relief to many, the Labour government has officially clarified a key rule in the electric car grant scheme, which is now being tailored more inclusively for drivers with disabilities. This clarification specifically addresses the concern around vehicle adaptation, something vital for drivers who need customized modifications to safely and comfortably operate their vehicles. Up until recently, there were fears that blue badge holders might be at a disadvantage under the new electric vehicle grant program, especially since adapted vehicles generally come with a higher price tag due to the essential modifications. But here's the good news: the Department for Transport has now assured the public that the costs of adaptations for disabled users will not count toward the vehicle price cap used to determine eligibility for the grant. In plain terms, if you are a disabled driver needing specialized equipment or interior changes like hand controls, ramps, swivel seats, or any mobility assistance systems, those additional costs will not push your car above the eligibility limit. This is a crucial distinction because, under the updated scheme, drivers can receive up to £3,750 off the purchase of a brand new electric vehicle, but only if that vehicle falls within a certain price range. Initially, the grant applied solely to EVs priced below £37,000. However, the latest announcement from the DFT introduces a bit more flexibility. Vehicles with more luxurious trim levels based on an eligible base model can now also qualify, so long as the total cost doesn't exceed £42,000. That said, any vehicle that goes above that £42,000 ceiling will no longer be considered for the government grant. The goal of this cap, according to the DFT, is to ensure that taxpayer-funded discounts are used for practical, accessible vehicles, not high-end luxury models. A spokesperson for the Department for Transport clarified that this price ceiling helps maintain focus on the more affordable end of the market, making sure that government support is reaching those who genuinely need it most. This new policy adjustment follows growing concerns raised by industry experts and advocacy groups. One of the strongest voices in this conversation has been Matt Fieldhouse, Group Managing Director at Mobility in Motion, a company that works closely with disabled drivers and the Motability Scheme. Fieldhouse recently pointed out a stark problem: only 20 out of the 40 most accessible electric vehicles available through Motability are priced under the £37,000 threshold. That's just half of the options available, meaning many drivers who rely on Motability would have been excluded from the grant without this recent clarification. He stressed that while the move toward electric mobility is necessary and welcome, it must not come at the cost of accessibility and inclusion. His call for action centered on the idea that disabled motorists face real-world challenges that go far beyond the listed price of a car. For instance, many drivers need expensive adjustments that aren't optional; they're critical for day-to-day independence. These costs can easily push a vehicle over the price cap if not properly accounted for. That's why this policy update is so important. It means the government is now acknowledging that affordability for disabled drivers looks very different than it does for the average consumer. Fieldhouse also advocated for broader reforms, including the idea that the base price cap itself should be raised for vehicles acquired through the Motability Scheme, recognizing that these users often have limited choices due to their specific requirements. While that broader conversation is ongoing, this new exemption for adaptation costs is a powerful first step toward ensuring that disabled drivers are not left behind in the transition to electric vehicles. So how does this work in practice? Let's say you're a blue badge holder looking to purchase a new electric car. You find a base model that falls under the £37,000 price threshold. Great, it qualifies for the grant. But then you need to make several essential modifications to make the car drivable for your needs. Maybe you need joystick controls, a wheelchair ramp, or an electronic lift. These modifications could cost several £1,000s. Under previous interpretations of the rule, these extra costs could have disqualified your car from receiving the grant. but thanks to the new clarification, these adaptation costs will now be ignored when calculating whether your vehicle qualifies, meaning you can still receive the full £3,750 support, even if your final car is worth more after all the changes are made. That's a game changer. It allows disabled drivers to choose the car that's right for their needs without being penalized financially for their disability. This move also signals a shift in how inclusive transportation policy is being designed under the Labour government, as they begin to roll out their £650 million grant package aimed at accelerating EV adoption across the UK. The broader scheme, launched back in July, was introduced with the goal of making electric vehicles more attainable for lower and middle-income families, especially as the UK continues its push toward net zero emissions. But now, with this added emphasis on equity and accessibility, it appears the policy is beginning to reflect the diverse needs of UK drivers. And this couldn't come at a more crucial time. As the UK plans to phase out petrol and diesel cars over the coming years, EVs are quickly becoming not just an option but a necessity. Without inclusive policies like this one, a large segment of the population, particularly those with mobility challenges, risked being left out of this transition entirely. The DfD's decision to recognise the unique financial realities of disabled drivers is not just a welcome correction, but an essential part of ensuring a fair and successful national transition to cleaner transport. And for those on the Motability Scheme, who often have no choice but to rely on adapted vehicles, this exemption represents a critical acknowledgement of their needs. It's also a sign that government departments are starting to listen more closely to advocacy groups and real-world feedback. While more work still needs to be done, like possibly reviewing the overall price cap for electric vehicles available under the Motability Scheme, this is a big win that deserves attention. So, if you or someone you know is a blue badge holder considering an EV purchase, now's the time to take action. Speak with your Motability advisor, check the eligibility of your preferred models, and look into what adaptations might be necessary. Most importantly, know that those adaptations will no longer affect your ability to receive the grant. This could make a significant financial difference. The move also helps normalize the reality that disability-related needs are not luxuries, they are basic necessities that should never become financial obstacles. By making these adjustments, the UK government is slowly paving the way toward a more accessible, fair, and environmentally friendly transportation future. So stay tuned, because we'll continue covering how these policies evolve, what they mean for you, and how to take full advantage of the benefits being offered. If this news has helped you or could help someone you know, make sure to share this video. Awareness is key. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more crucial updates on transport policies, government grants, electric vehicles, and accessibility. We're committed to bringing you accurate, up-to-date information that makes a real impact in your life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.